Nahir Albright's brother is in the purple, and you just see Keyshawn Davis come in. There's no room for this in the sport.
Yeah, that was an unfortunate scene that transpired after Kelvin Davis and Nahir Albright fought in Norfolk, Virginia, you know, and a lot of boxing pundits and experts and aficionados alike have came out and been very vocal in denouncing this type of behavior. And they are absolutely right. It is nothing but unprofessional, unbecoming, and it's a disgrace, you know, that Keyshawn Davis and his brethren acted in this type of manner. And since then, Kelvin Davis, the older brother who was involved in the fight with Nahir Albright, who lost, right? He has come out and apologized on behalf of DB3, saying this. Salute to Kelvin Davis for this apology on behalf of his brothers, right? But I mean, to be honest, that's the least you could do is speak for DB3, because we damn sure know you can't fight for him.
Got him! Got him!
If I tell you I'm good, probably you will say I'm boasting. If I tell you I'm no good, you know one line.
Yo, what's good, Boxing Talk family? Welcome back to your favorite boxing news channel, Dr. Boxing Talk, and we are back for another YouTube video banger, man. Yes, sir. Yes, man. Remember what time it is? A doctor's in the house, man. So check this out. But before we get to it, you know, as always, take a brief moment to smack that like button. And it's easy, man. Let's do it together. There you go. That's what I'm talking about. So let's get forward. Let's proceed with the video, right? Accordingly, you know, and apparently, like I've shown you, you know, you already heard about what went down in the Keyshawn Davis event, you know, with DB3, and they acted like idiots, you know. Let's call it what it is. It was very unprofessional, very unbecoming, very disgraceful, and it was just, it has no room for that in the sport, right? You know, it was terrible, you know, and I think that that type of behavior should be punished, right? I think that not only with him missing weight, he should be punished, in addition to being stripped of his title like he was, but also with this type of behavior and jumping Nahir Albright for winning the fight, you know, that's what it seems like, right? I think that this should come with another reprimand. I think it should come with an additional suspension, in my personal opinion. However, what makes me very sick to my stomach and very annoyed is how these boxing pundits and aficionados, they pick and choose who they critique. Yeah. They pick and choose where their criticism lies. Yeah. They pick and choose who they want to punish for the same exact behavior that other fighters have done before in the past, and they were quiet. So my point is this: if you were quiet then,
shut up, bitch!
then at least for the sake of consistency, you could kindly shut the hell up now. That's all I'm saying, you know, and I'm tired of people being inconsistent, but that's why we are here to hold people accountable, you know. So I showed you before where people are talking about, you know, this event, and it's wrong. They're right. They're wrong. I'm not.
What?
And it's wrong. They're right. They're wrong. And it's wrong. They're right. They're wrong.
Cocaine is a hell of a drug.
And it's wrong. They're right. They're wrong. I'm not here to defend Keyshawn Davis, but what I'm here is to point out the hypocrisy, you know, amongst these people that are masquerading as boxing apologists and boxing defenders and acting like their actions are all altruistic in nature. They're not. You know, you're not a righteous warrior for the integrity of boxing. What you are people that like to point out certain actions, mostly negative, of certain fighters that come from certain places, but you don't keep the same energy when other fighters demonstrate the same behavior, right? And let's be honest, you know, we see guys like, you know, Brian Campbell come out and denounce this event or these actions. Dan Canobbio come out and denounce these actions, and we've seen other boxing aficionados come out and denounce these actions, like Lou DiBella, right? And I agree with them, but like I said, once again, where was this energy when other fighters did the same thing, you know? And I want to tell you this too, you know, if you read the entire apology by Kelvin Davis, he said that they have been wrongly accused, that a lot of these allegations are just not true. I don't care if they're true or not, you know. I'm gonna be honest, you know, I'm on this video, I want to talk about the multitude of boxing personalities that do not keep the same energy, and they honestly disseminate untruthful information and inconsistent information, and they don't and they don't even want to let you know the whole picture, you know. And like I said, I'm not disagreeing. I want to emphasize this again. I'm not disagreeing that Keyshawn Davis is wrong. I personally believe that he should be punished harshly, but I also think that if you think that he should be punished harshly for this behavior, then you have to keep the same energy when, let's say, how about Team Benavidez? Oh, you remember this? Check it out.
What's up? What's up? Hey, man, hold up. Yo, coming over here. Hey, y'all coming over here.
Listen, no, listen to me. If you come over here, my coach is gonna say to calm down, right? Rightfully so. Don't get mad at him for saying that. Chill. Listen, you gotta chill. Listen, you gotta chill. Online?
I'm at the gym, and my brother, you know, he's a street dude, you know, he likes all that. What did he say? And my brother, you know, he's a street dude, you know, he likes all that.
Yeah, that was David Benavidez, brother Jose Benavidez, and about 3 or 4 other people on their team approaching Caleb Plant when it was just him and his trainer in the gym, and they jumped him. Where was all the same energy? Where was Dan Canobio then? Did you say anything? What about you, Brian Campbell? Did you say anything about that? What about you, Lou DiBella? Did you say anything about that? What about you, Dan Raphael? Did you say anything about that? Oh, there's another one, you know. What about when Team Caleb Plant and his entourage jumped the Egyptian boxer at the event? Check it out.
Damn. I'm sorry.
Get him up, let him get up, let him get up, let him get up. Fight back, nigga. Fight back.
Yeah, so where were you at then? Was that acceptable behavior from a professional boxer? Oh, you were quiet then, right? You know, when I saw this video, I looked at it. I just, you know, I'm gonna be honest, man. You know, I thought it was bad and I thought it was very unprofessional, but I didn't take it that seriously, man. These guys are fighters, and sometimes you can't just turn the switch on and off. Sometimes you get into altercations, and these guys have the personality. Check out their profession, just in case you missed it. They're pugilists, meaning they're fighters.
You dumbass.
Sometimes when they get into a verbal altercation, it might turn into a fight. So I'm not condoning it, but I'm just saying sometimes these things happen. And the same thing should be applied to Keyshawn Davis. It was caught on camera. So hold on, before you tell my mama I was snitching, you know, my mama ain't raised no snitch.
All right, I'm putting cases on all you bitches.
This is all public information, so you should have already seen this before. So, and if you missed it, it's not because you missed it conveniently, right? You know, you missed it because you don't really care. But now it's almost acceptable to shit on Keyshawn Davis because he missed weight and because he's doing a sequence of unfortunate events and unbecoming things. So now it's acceptable to be heavily critique him, and that's fine. But let's keep the same energy applied everywhere, man. Not to mention, you heard about what the Figueroa Bros did to, you know what I'm saying, allegedly did to my guy. We ain't gonna say no names. How you doing, Mario? And we heard about what the Vargas brothers did to, you know, Rolly in the lobby, and David Morrell had to intervene. Yeah, there's video footage on that too. It happened a while ago, but these are things that transpire where people are doing things that aren't right in the sport. But look at this idiot whose name will be covered, right? He said this. Yeah, the Davis brothers should be removed from boxing. So should Caleb Plant be removed from boxing? Should David Benavidez or Jose Benavidez be removed from boxing? Should all the other guys that I mentioned before, should all the aforementioned fighters be removed from boxing because of one incident? Like I said, it's wrong. Let's call it for what it is. And if you're going to punish them, which I think you should, they should be suspended. They should be reprimanded. But if you're going to do that, then make sure that you apply it to everybody. Don't just be selective with your punishment. Don't switch the grading criteria. Don't switch the rubric, you know, or the criteria that you're judging these people on, because we need to judge the actions, not the person that does it. You know, so what happened when the American Caleb Plant jumped the Egyptian boxer? You didn't say nothing, right? What happened with the American David Benavidez and his entourage jumped Caleb Plant? You didn't say nothing, right? But now this American Keyshawn Davis, you want to be very vocal and adamant about the punishment, right?
Nigga, you's a bitch.
Why? What's the difference? They're all American, baby. Aren't they? Yeah. So I mean, I just don't really understand. You know, I'm like I said, I'm not defending Keyshawn. In fact, I'm advocating for him to be punished. But what I'm saying is, if you were quiet then you should be quiet now. I don't think that his punishment should be any harsher than anybody else's punishment before him. So if they weren't punished before him and you weren't critical of them, then I need you to kindly shut the hell up now. You know what I'm saying? What Keyshawn Davis did was wrong, but he will learn from it. This is not something that's going to be a permanent stain on his on his life or his boxing career. He could bounce back if he wants to. Now, if he continuously does these type of antics, then of course this will stain him. But other people, like I just gave you examples of, they bounce back from their missteps as well. So he should have the opportunity to do so as also, you know, but he is definitely wrong. I want to emphasize that again, because I know people are going to hear me and say, oh, you're defending Keyshawn. No, I'm not defending Keyshawn. What I'm doing is I'm attacking those goofy goofies that want to act like this is the first time they've seen this type of stuff happen. Act like they've never seen it before. I've seen it before, so how come you haven't? Maybe you should tighten up with your job. You see what I'm saying? But yeah, you know, and then I also wanted to say this too, because somebody pointed this out, but I think that they were wrong with this scenario. They said that they said to Dan Canobio that Caleb Plant slapping Jamal Charlo. Caleb Plant's a repeat offender. You know what I'm talking about? The Caleb Plant slapping Jamal Charlo is worse. And to which Dan Canobio responded and said, "Oh, this is not a competition." Well, you know, you're right. It's not a competition. But on this channel over here, it is about correction, you know. So I see what you try to do. You try to exercise some deflection. But on this channel, we're about accountability and correction. So what it is about is the fact that you're not keeping the same energy. And that's what the guy was trying to articulate, even though I think he put up a bad situation, because that was between two people. It wasn't really a people ganging up on anybody. You know, in fact, you could say Caleb Plant in that situation was the one that was outnumbered. But my point is that if you're going to vocally and outwardly denounce somebody for doing one action, then you should also do the same thing when other people perform the same action. And at the very least you could do is be quiet if you were quiet before. That's what I'm saying. So don't, and you know, I know they're gonna say, oh well, it's different situation. This was caught on camera. Well, that's the reason why I brought up Team Benavidez and Team Caleb Plant with the Egyptian fighter, and Team Benavidez when they ran down on Caleb Plant in his gym and invaded his space. That was also on camera. Now, if you want to say, oh, it's different because it wasn't at an event at their hometown, of course it's not going to be exactly the same. But the point is, the part that they have in common, the part that is synonymous, is multiple guys ganging up on other guys.
No diddy.
That's the whole point. So we're judging the act of violence. We're not judging the act of violence in a particular venue or a particular setting. The fact of the matter is that this was fighting outside of the ring, outside of the confines of the square circle. And we should also keep the same energy. And the reason why I'm bringing up these people, because these same people coincidentally were very vocal about Keyshawn Davis missing weight as well. But they were also very quiet when it came to Ryan Garcia missing weight and being on PEDs. So once again, they don't judge the action, they judge the person, and that is wrong. Because when you don't stand on business, and if you don't stand for something, you're going to fall for anything. So these people will confuse you and make you think that only certain people are doing certain things, when in fact, it's a lot of people doing these things, and we should be as adamant about punishing all of them. We should approach every situation with the same fervor, especially when it's the same exact situation. Where were these people being very vocal when Gustavo Lemos came in 6 pounds heavy against Keyshawn Davis? Oh, it was different then, huh? Yeah. Ryan Garcia missed weight by 3 pounds, and he was on PEDs. Oh, it was different then, huh? Yeah. Janabek missed weight so much he was hospitalized. He wasn't hospitalized because he has an illness. He was hospitalized because he was so drastically desperately trying to reduce his weight that the fight was canceled. He was hospitalized because of it. Oh, by the way, he kept his belt. Yeah. Where were the people out? Where were you being very vocal about him and his lack of professionalism? Oh, you were quiet then. So do me a favor and keep quiet now.
Shut up, bitch.
That's all I ask. Be consistent. You know what I'm saying? Everybody is wrong. If you miss weight, you should be punished. I'm very serious about that. Not only do I think the fighter should be punished, I think the team, including the trainer and the promoter, should be held accountable as well. But guess what? I also said this during the buildup. When it was first announced that Keyshawn Davis missed weight, you could check the documentation.
All them niggas A1. Yeah. All got street cred. Yeah. All them niggas ballin'. Yeah. All them niggas out lit.
I literally said that Edwin De Los Santos should not take this fight, but I also said that Keyshawn Davis shouldn't have took the fight against Gustavo Lemos. My bad. I also said that Devin Haney should have taken the fight against Ryan Garcia, but you all didn't. Why didn't you say that? But now you're mad at Keyshawn Davis and you're saying that, oh, he was very unprofessional. He was unprofessional, and I think he should be punished for it. But I think everybody else that practiced the same exact, lack of professionalism should also be punished. Why don't you? That's my problem. You see what I'm saying? But yeah, I appreciate y'all rocking with me as always, man. Y'all let me know what y'all think about that. Should Keyshawn Davis be punished? Absolutely. Big salute to Nahir Albright. He handled it like with the utmost class, the epitome of class, the epitome of professionalism, the epitome of just an awesome, respectful individual, man. So shout out to Nahir Albright, man. Good for him for winning the fight. Shame on Keyshawn Davis for how they handled it, but also shame on the media for how they're handling it as well. That's what I'm talking about. Don't forget to smack that like button. The doctor's out. Peace. Remember, with God, we can do anything. Without God, we're nothing.
From the hood to college, both worlds they had to meet. 6 degrees between us, so cold we're about to freeze. But we're Florida boys, hot takes, we bring the heat. We're moving the culture, the engineers to the streets.